Let's begin. Time. How do you feel about artificial intelligence or AI? You might feel confused or concerned, or optimistic and enthusiastic about it. Now, during our time together today, I want to create a space for you to think about artificial intelligence in the world of specialty coffee. Because I believe we can truly help the lives of hard-working coffee farmers all around the world by significantly boosting their coffee quality through innovative farming practices using AI. And all on a touch of a button. The screens in front of you are going to have all the information that we're going to speak about today. So please, sit back, relax, and let me tell you more about it. Coffee processing can sometimes be extremely challenging and unpredictable. Over the last couple of years, we've been trying very hard to minimize these challenges. Farmers collected data using sensors to monitor biochemical activity, soil health, and weather conditions. Now, this isn't something new, but there is an unresolved problem. If they collect this information every 5 minutes, the sheer size of the data can be very overwhelming and confusing for a farmer to make predictive decisions. And this is where AI comes in. You can think about AI as a computer software that's capable of learning and understanding all the data that we've collected in the past and think like an experienced farmer would, but just in a matter of few seconds. Now today, I'll be double tapping all the shots for optimal extraction. Now, judges, I want you to look into the screens in front of you. If we have to get started, our first step was to collect information on an amazing coffee. And this is why I chose to work with Kai Jansen. Because over years of hard work and dedication, Kai has accumulated a wealth of data that was perfect for AI to learn. I remember when I first tasted this coffee, it immediately stood out with amazing clarity and complexity, that I knew that this is the coffee that I want to serve you today. Now, judges, in order to highlight the complexity of this beverage even further, I decided to clarify your espressos for your signature course, which I'll be serving you later, by adding 3 grams of a lactic acid solution. And then pouring it into fresh cow's milk to prepare a curd. The proteins in the curd are going to react with the tannins in this coffee, elevating the complexity of this coffee to a whole new level. But this is going to take a while. Let me tell you more about our coffees first. For your signature course and your espresso course, I'll be serving a coffee that's produced by Kai Jansen. This is a naturally processed green tip geisha varietal from the Los Alpes estate, grown in the region of Volcan, situated in Panama, at 1,700 meters above sea level. Now, after the cherries were picked, they were anaerobically fermented for 72 hours, creating an amazing candy-like sweetness in the cherries. Now, with all the data that was collected from a number of environmental sensors and weather stations, Kai decided to dry these coffees on African raised beds for 13 days until a water activity of 60% was achieved. This allowed the candy-like sugars to break down into notes of black currant. After that, they were moved to sensor-equipped dark rooms at a temperature of 18 degrees, a humidity of 45%, creating those amazing classical geisha notes of nectarine and grapefruit today. I'll be brewing in a recipe of 20 grams in, 45 grams out, in approximately 23 seconds, because this is where I found an amazing balance between the candy-like sugar and the acidity. Judges, when I serve you these beverages, please do not taste them yet. Kindly evaluate the crema and wait for my further instructions. In this coffee, you will find a medium to high acidity, a medium sweetness, and a low bitterness. Your tactile is going to be smooth. a medium body. It's going to be crisp and medium in the finish. You will taste nectarine, grapefruit, cranberry, and blackberry in the finish. Now I request you to have a couple of sips of water and enjoy this beverage in 2 sips. Please enjoy, and I'll rejoin you shortly. I'll give you a few more seconds. Judges, are we ready? Are we ready? Let's begin. Now, with all the data that was collected from the Los Alpes region and many other farms, I built an AI software that can truly help the lives of hard-working coffee farmers around the world. We implemented the software in the northeast region of India at Adit's farm. I chose to work with Adit because his coffees had a very high concentration of ester compounds, causing his coffees to over-ferment very erratically. And I strongly believe that AI can help this problem. But the AI software predicted that if we dry these coffees for over 2,000 hours at a humidity of 90%, this coffees will not over-ferment. I know it sounds crazy, but we wanted to give it a try. So we prepared these coffees together by picking up the cherries and dried in the monsoon winds that sweep in from the Arabian Sea from June to September, until a water activity of 60% was achieved, inspired by Kai Jansen. This allowed all the ester compounds to break down into isomyl acetate, a compound that is naturally found in ripe bananas. Now, judges, I want you to look into the screens in front of you. I'll rejoin you shortly for your milk beverages. Now, judges, when I serve you these beverages, please evaluate your visual experience. Do not taste them yet. Kindly wait for my further instructions. In the process of collecting data, I realized over 33% of the world's population cannot have a milk beverage because they're lactose intolerant. And today, I'm so happy to introduce you to milk rotary evaporation. Using an apparatus called the RoTWAP, I took 500 grams of lactose-free milk in a round bottom flask, boiled it at 30 degrees, at 230 RPM, at 1 bar of pressure for 30 minutes. This allowed all the sugars that were lost in the fermentation process to be restored and reduced the milk to 60%. Creating a very memorable tactile experience. Please hold off on tasting. For you, please hold off on tasting. I've steamed this milk to exactly 55 degrees today because this is where I found an amazing sweetness in this coffee. Let's go through some tasting notes together. In this coffee, you will taste banana liqueur. You will taste butter biscuit. dried cherries, and an aftertaste of milk chocolate. Your tactile is going to be smooth. It's going to be buttery and creamy. And your finish is going to be buttery, it's going to be creamy and very smooth. Now please take the spoons in front of you, stir the beverage at least 3 times, and enjoy this beverage in 2 sips. These glasses are for your use spoons. Please enjoy, and I'll rejoin you shortly. Are we ready? Yeah? Now for your signature course, I wanted to create a sensory experience that showcases the synergy between Kai's and Adit's farms. 2 different farms from 2 different parts of the world having their own unique coffee processing practices. Now with the power of AI, we can now share data. We can learn from each other. We can grow together and contribute to the specialty coffee industry. The motivation for our AI software was Kai Jansen's Geisha. And this is why I'm adding 90 grams of clarified espresso that we prepared earlier. To this, I'm adding 10 grams of a fructose solution, because this is the only sugar that I found that paired really well with the nectarine note of the espresso, creating a new note of mango today. Sorry about that. Today, I'm going to infuse this with nitrogen oxide to create a coating texture. And I've added chilling rocks to increase the temperature slightly more than room temperature today, giving you highlighting experience of different complexities that we tried to achieve very hard earlier. Now, when I serve you these beverages, please do not taste them yet. Have a couple of sips of water and enjoy this beverage in 2 sips, but only after I call my time. And finally, to celebrate the improvement of AI in the northeast region of India, I'm using a green tea from the northeast region of India again. I'm creating micro bubbles today so that the delicate notes of this green tea paired really well with the nectarine notes and the gooseberry notes, grapefruit notes of our espresso, creating new notes of mango, passion fruit, muscat grapes, and lychee aftertaste. Let's go through some taste experiences together. You will find the beverage to have a medium body for weight. It's going to be smooth, and it's going to be long-lasting, refreshing aftertaste. And it's going to be cooling too. Now, judges, before you leave from here, I urge you to carry the story with you. Think about it, discuss it, share it, and ponder it. Have you ever known over 90% of the world's coffee species are at a brink of an extinction today? But with the power of AI, we can now share data, learn from each other, and protect these species. Can you imagine what flavors they might discover in the future? Can you imagine what stories they might have to share? I definitely have more stories to share with you the next time we meet, because we've implemented AI in multiple farms around the world. Adit's was one among them. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll call it my time.